it up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, let's keep moving on. We're not going to stop right now. We're going to actually start right now by saying good night to all who are logged on to Straight Talk with Ian Patches Liburd on your YouTube and your Facebook platforms. And I welcome all of you in St. Kitts and Nevis, all of you throughout the entire Caribbean, or matter of fact, all of you throughout the world, wherever you may be on the World Wide Web. Remember that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's, in the process, try our endeavor best to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable position of being one of the freest countries, if not the freest country in the entire world. On this program, we tried to raise the level of national consciousness. We tried to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation, my Straight Talk family, on yet another occasion. My Straight Talk family, as your host, and this is in particular for the first timers, as your host, I am an untiring advocate of truthfulness. On this program, nothing, absolutely nothing, is watered down in any way, shape, or form, whether by omission or exaggeration, to make it more interesting. I consider it my duty, my bounden duty, to always present the unvarnished truth about governance, in particular in my country. I want to hail my young brigade, Dwayne, through your papa and your mama. I want to hail Tristan, I want to hail Shama, I want to hail Kevin, and I want to touch base with that special lady in St. Louis. And how is the Queen in Texas? How is St. Thomas? How is the USVI, St. Croix? How is San Juan, Puerto Rico? And the BVI, Totola Anegada, Virgin Gorda. Let's come up to Anguilla, St. Eustatius and Bats, and as well as Sabre. Our neighbors in Antigua, my straight dog family, and as well Martinique, Guadeloupe, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela. Let's go north to Jamaica, my straight dog family. But wherever you are, especially in the Kittian and the Vision diaspora, I know that some of you are in Africa, there's some of you in Europe, there are some of you in Asia, and there are a lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning. I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. Tonight, my thesis I have titled An Ill-Conceived Reset Announcement. But before going into my thesis, before going into my dissertation, I normally, especially for the first timers, we don't normally have what we call our observations in review, which is that time when we highlight the issues of the day, meaning the current issues, and we do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions. Such as what was accomplished since we raised those issues, how it has helped us, how it has changed since we last met, and what can be expected next. Also, what we have learned as a people, my straight dog family. And my first observation relates to the Social Security Board, or as we say, Social Security. And you will be aware that this continues to be one of the favorite topics of Dr. Drew, as he overemphasized that Development Bank owes Social Security some $120 million. And he keeps repeating that statement wherever he goes. This statement.
The Development Bank owes Social Security $119 million, $921,959.78. 119 million, almost 120 million, owed to the Social Security. None of this money was borrowed under the new administration. This is what we met.
Well, I believe he's accurate with that in terms of what he meant. But I can just to ensure that we understand and put it into the right perspective, all of that money was not borrowed by the last administration, or the administration which he replaced. Because if you go way back, we see, and I'll bring you up to date nonetheless, but you must ask yourselves, why was Dr. Jew so selective? All he talks about is the development bank. But why didn't he tell us about the Nevis Island Administration's debt to the Social Security Board, my straight out family? And we can see that the NIA loans to date total some $47,185,336.53. We always bring you the facts, my straight out family. And why didn't Dr. Jew tell us as well about the Nevis Land and Housing Development Corporation, which as well has a debt owed to Social Security? And these are the loans owed to the Social Security Board by the Nevis Land and Housing Development Corporation. And you can glean from those figures that the loans to the NHLDC of Nevis, owing to the Social Security Board as of September 2022, totals some $631,000, that should be $219.59. So if we combine those two loans from Nevis, that puts us, if my mathematics is correct, over 81, let's round it off, say $82 million. But we also asked ourselves, why didn't Dr. Jew make mention as well of the NHC? He made no mention whatsoever about the NHC loan owed to the development bank, my straight out family. And these are the figures as well as the loans owed by the National Housing Corporation as of September 2022, some $132,651,617.51, my street dog family. And that loan, or those loans, as you can see them listed there, go way back as far as 2014 by the NHC. So those loans go back some 9 years ago by owed to the NHC. And the then chairman of the NHC in 2014 confirmed this, my straight dog family.
Historically, we have received most of our loan funding out from the Social Security. They have funded us for the past 15 years, and we are grateful for that. They have funded us to the tune of nearly $100 million in that time period. This is a large sum of money.
Yes, $100 million. That's in 2014, reported there by the former chairman of NHC. But putting that aside, my straight dog family, Dr. Jew just recently in the National Assembly tarnished the previous board and current staff of the Social Security Board by suggesting that impropriety existed at this institution. And such impropriety had to be cleaned up, to use his words, by the new chairperson and board, also the new director. And here's what Dr. Drew said, who is, in fact, the Minister of Social Security. This is what he said in Parliament on Monday, the 18th of September.
The chair of the board, Mrs. Harris and her team, I have said to her as the minister that we have to get it right. There will not be any shenanigans or any political interference. She has worked hard with her team. Lots of cleaning up in Social Security. Lots of cleaning up. Lots of things to clear up. And I want to thank her for responding well. And to thank the director, Mr. Lord. He has the relevant studies in terms of actuary and science. He has the resume to prove that. And with all of that, I told him, look, come to Social Security. Help us to make it right. So a lot of things can be said, but facts are facts. The actual fact is Social Security has turned around since last year, July.
And you know, my Straight Talk family, everything seemed to have been terrible according to the opinion. And Dr. Joe will understand at some stage that his opinions are not necessarily facts, and opinions are not facts. However, it was his absurd comments in Parliament on Monday, the 18th, that reconfirmed that Dr. Drew is not fit for purpose. Would you believe that Dr. Drew declared that Social Security was in the red? Then he turned it to the green, and then eventually got it in the black. Here's what he said in Parliament, which took everyone by surprise.
In 2022 up to July, Social Security was in the red, negative. And I, being from the same party of the first national hero, imbued with the principles on which Social Security was built, I am committed to making sure that Social Security does not only continue to exist, but that Social Security would thrive and respond to present day situations. Especially for the students who are here, I want to say, to date, July 2023, Social Security is now in the green, which means it's positive. Green dollars. All right. The students would know better. So we have turned around significantly. We now have a Social Security that is much stronger. With that turnaround in dollars is up to put us in the black, and this puts us as one of the strongest Social Security scheme in the whole of the Caribbean.
So he came from the red, in which he said he met it. He met Development Bank in the red. He met Social Security in the red. And then he turned it to green, and eventually to black. And as he rightly said, the students will know. And the students that were in the gallery all know better. And that is why they scoffed and laughed at our Prime Minister. Especially when he said, last July 2023, he turned it into the green, whatever that means. But what a shame, my Straight Dog family. But on a more serious note, the audited financial statements for 2020, 2021, and 2022 have been completed. And Dr. Drew has an obligation to table these statements, these audited statements, in the Parliament. And the Social Security Board must as well post them on their websites, on the website, because the last I checked, they have up to 2019. And they have not posted the last actuarial report as well, which was done. And matter of fact, they're moving into a new actuarial report, I think, as of December 2023. The last one is 2020. But those are only places one will find the facts in the statements, not Jew's warped opinion. His warped opinion cannot be facts. Table the accounts, Dr. Jew, in accordance with the law. And the law is very clear. Section 41 of the Act is very clear, my straight dog family. It says, as you can glean from that presentation, report and accounts to be submitted to minister, and as per the second schedule, and it says, subsection 1 of section 41, the board shall, after the end of each year, prepare a report on its activities during the last preceding year, beg your pardon, and shall finish that report to the minister not later than the 30th day of June, reads that subsection. Subsection B, it says the board shall submit to the minister every account certified by the auditor under subsection 5 of section 40. And subsection 5 of section 40 reads, an auditor appointed by the minister shall examine and certify every account of the fund. My straight dog family. Together with the report of the auditor thereon within 1 month of such certification. And subsection C, very important, the board shall submit to the minister an account of the securities in which monies forming part of the fund are fixed for the time being, invested in accordance with the second schedule. And here's this, my straight dog family. So, section 41, subsection 2. The minister shall, underline shall, cause a copy of every account or report submitted to him or her under this section to be laid before the National Assembly. That's the law. It says shall. He has no option. So if he's talking about what the chairman said to him, whatever Mrs. Harris said to him is immaterial. He must table the accounts, table the reports in the parliament, and those are the facts, not what he says, my straight dog family. But our second observation, Straight Talk has observed that work at the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum has quietly come to a halt. Recall, my Straight Dog family, that Dr. Jew instructed commencement of the project under the office of the Prime Minister, contrary to the Procurement and Contract Administration Act. Recall that Dr. Jew said to us, my Straight Dog family, that he in fact commissioned this construction. He said this. And before that, this is the state of the museum as he posted most recently on his Facebook page, him meaning the Prime Minister, Dr. Jew. But work has quietly come to a halt, my Straight Dog family, and not much is said about that particular development, my Straight Dog family, and we find it rather interesting. But recall as well, my Straight Dog family, that Dr. Jew avoided the Procurement and Contract Administration Act. he disregarded that particular act, we can say. He did so as well and approved the sole sourcing of 1,000 water storage tanks costing $5.8 million. And by the way, the RLB museum, the development or construction of that museum is costing us meaning taxpayers, some $8 million, having moved at a variation doubled from $4 million to $8 million. But he said this about some water tanks, 1,000 tanks costing $5.8 million. And this is what Dr. Joe said to the nation.
We have sent the fire truck, we have sent the water truck. We continue to send the fire truck, we continue to send the water truck. We have just signed a contract to purchase water storage tanks. So at least when the water truck goes, they have a larger receptacle to store the water. People are having serious challenges. I would also like to thank Mr. Ashley Allers, because he's the one who brought the idea of how we can help with the storage receptacles that we're going to launch just now. That took a little bit longer because I had to go through the procurement process and so forth for transparency and so forth. But that is another matter another aspect that we have brought to bear to deal with the issue in terms of getting larger receptacles. And when we have more water, those will be set up completely so that people can have proper storage.
Another lie that he went through the procurement process. The methods of procurement are quite clear, my Straight Talk family. Blue said. The methods of procurement governed by the Procurement and Contract Administration Act, Section 10, is very clear. A procurement shall be made by one of the following methods of solicitation. A tender shall be done by either competitive sealed bids or by competitive sealed proposals or sole source procurement. Emergency procurement. Sole source procurement means that you can't get it from no other source. My Straight Talk family. And water tanks are sold by TDC, sold by so many suppliers here in St. Kitts. I'm happy for my brother Ashley, but we have to do things the right way. And my Straight Talk family, the right way deals with procurement through a notice of solicitation and pre-qualification as per the legislation subsection 13, which reads, again, my Straight Talk family, subject to section 16, the procurement officer shall ensure that notice of A, a solicitation for a procurement by tender, or B, an invitation to pre-qualify for a procurement by tender, is given in at least 2 newspapers of general circulation in the Federation, no less than 6 weeks before the day and time for the close of bids or proposals or invitations to pre-qualify as the case may be. So if there was procurement, then Dr. Ju must tell the country which newspaper were they published in, which one of the 2 or both. He should tell us, my Straight Talk family. But that's the July, and that we've all come accustomed to. My Straight Talk family, my third observation relates to housing. And in the housing sector, the long-awaited groundbreaking ceremony to start construction of 2 model homes took place on Monday at Taylor's Village. I remember, my Straight Talk family, that they once told us that once the model homes are constructed, then they would be on display. And if the feedback from the potential homeowners are negative, then the contract automatically comes to a stop, according to the disgraced Garth Lucien Wilkin, Attorney General. He did say that it will be put to a cessation by Straight Dog family. So we had this house breaking on Monday as well. And very interesting though, I did make mention of this and it needs to be repeated. But very interesting, we found my Straight Dog family that Brian Singh, the developer, who never built a house, nowhere in no part of this world. But we found that Brian Singh, who we know the East Coast Housing Limited, I think that's his company's name, got a $150 million guarantee, a government guarantee. And according to the Finance and Administration Act, guarantees cannot be given by a prime minister or by anyone. Guarantees are approved by a resolution in Parliament. So how he got this guarantee, only Dr. Drew knows. But we understand he's doing as he likes. He just writes up, spends money, and gets his cabinet secretary to write to the financial secretary and instruct her to pay. But that's his way of doing things. But you'll be interested to see what the director of audit says, if that director has any guts, a Straight Dog family. But this is what Brian Singh said, my Straight Dog family, which caught my attention.
Morning to one and all, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet colleagues, Chairman of NHC, and General Manager of NHC, and all other members of the media. Today is a special day for me too, not just the people of Senegal. I see them a condition more than the Chairman of NHC. But I am glad to be here, and I want to say that it's so astonishing that, at something like this will happen around this time. It's the anniversary of the independence, and it shows the independent thinking mind of this government. I want to thank Dr. Hanley, first of all, for his resilience and not giving up in making this thing happen. Dr. Hanley, I want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister. I have met many Prime Ministers and worked with many Prime Ministers in the region, and Dr. Drew is a gem out of all. Last time I said he was a man for the people and of the people. I think it worked both ways. And I want to thank you. You have made a dream come true, not just for your government, but for the people of the Federation. And I say thank you 1,000 times. It would be remiss of me not to mention that all this happened because of the people. The people of the Federation created today, not just the Prime Minister and his cabinet. How? Why? It's because you voted Labour back into power. A Labour government is doing what the people need, not what they want you to, what they need. And I'm saying to you, on behalf of East Coast, on behalf of East Coast Housing Development and the National Housing Corporation, we have partnered together with the government, led by the Honorable Prime Minister, to make this happen. We are not just building houses for you all. What we have created, and I want to use Dr. Hanley's word, we have created homes. Homes for people of the Federation. People, you all might never seen something like this before, but we are saying we are building this to withstand the test of time. We are giving you something here that you have never realized before. We are not just partnering today. Don't forget I mentioned I was a more condition than Mr. White. So my job is not to come here today, build the homes, and go back. I'm not leaving. The deceased Denise Plumber from Trinidad, my God rest her soul, she said, I'm not leaving. The only time she left because she died. But her spirit is still there. And I ain't gonna die now. I want to make sure that every individual who applied for a home under this Smart House initiative, this housing revolution, that they realize their dream. And I know with the cabinet led by the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, this will happen. No two ways about it. I want to, in closing, give praise and thanks to Almighty God, because at the end of the day, I grew up with my grandmother, and she said, always give praise and thanks. If we don't do that, we come like a headless chicken. So I want to say thank you again for having me, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, members of Cabinet, and Mr. White, thank you again to you and the General Manager of NAC for your accommodation. You all have been more than accommodated. Like I said, I've been to all the countries in the Caribbean you work. You'll take the cake. So expect a birthday cake for Christmas. I thank you. May God bless you.
We'd just like to thank
And you know my Straight Dog family,
Brian Singh.
the Brian Singh sounds like a new Labour candidate. But according to the slow student, nonetheless, Jeffrey Hanley, this is what he said will happen.
3 beds, living room set, dining room table, and of course he have said to me, AC units in all 3 bedrooms and the front room. And of course it's coming also with solar panels and water storage.
So my Straight Dog family, the house will be outfitted with all the amenities and filled with furniture. The question which arises, therefore, is whether the model home will be on display in order to show potential buyers what similar homes might be like when people are living in them, and whether Miss Buchanan's home will be open at all times to accommodate visitors. So this may not be a model home. That's the question. That's the point I'm trying to raise. But in time, we'll tell my Straight Dog family. But those are my observations in review. And I'll move right into my thesis, my dissertation tonight, as I mentioned before, an ill-conceived reset announcement, my Straight Dog family. And today is the 4th day of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly's high-level meeting, which is being held from September 19th to September 26th in New York City, under the theme Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity, Accelerating Action on the 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Development Goals towards peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. Now, my Straight Dog family, during a hastily convened sitting of the National Assembly on Monday, September 18, our Prime Minister announced what he called Independence 40 Reset, in which he revealed, in my humble view, 6 poorly conceived initiatives which did nothing else but to stimulate the thoughts of all and sundry who have concluded that it was an attempt to change the narrative in the Federation in order to distract everyone from continuing to focus on his incompetence, the incompetence of this Jew Labour administration, its lack of transparency and accountability, also Dr. Jew's perpetual lies. Dr. Jew has since absconded and has gone away suddenly and almost secretly to Unga, in order to escape the constant criticism of his poor management of the Federation's economy. Dr. Drew and his cabinet colleagues spend more time traveling outside of the country, as if they use the opportunity to run away from the problems. But a word to the wise: running away from problems can never solve them. What is transformative about the initiatives that Dr. Drew hastily unveiled baffles me. Dr. Drew gives a handout to the poor, then flies away with half of his cabinet to a foreign land, and they all feel good about what they have done. But think about it. Are they really helping the poor and vulnerable in our midst? Hell no. Because 1 week later, after the good deed has been done, we'll find the same people in their same situation. Electricity arrears reset. Water services reset. What are we giving to the poor man and woman who do not have a job, or the pensioner who has a fixed income or who has lost a steady income? Immediate reconnection, you may say, but that is equivalent to giving them a handout instead of a hand up. And that has to change for people to be set free from a mindset of entitlement and shame to one of dignity, respect, and productivity. As a former Minister of Public Infrastructure myself, I never approved the disconnection of anyone's water. Water? Disconnects water? How could I, when I know that water is life? How could you disconnect someone's water when water is life? How could a one-time payment of $1,000 to contributors of the Social Security Fund be considered a workers' reset? If the circumstances are not right for meaningful and fundamental change in the world of work, my straight dog family, how could it? My straight dog family. $1,000 to contributors to the Social Security Fund. Only pensioners and active workers who reside in St. Kitts and Nevis qualify. No registration required. Finance through savings from the Citizenship by Investment Program. How much is being paid out, my straight dog family? How much is the question we ask, and we will never get answers, because everything this government does, it does it in a secretive manner. Dr. Drew, your predecessors left a shovel-ready project, having spent $14 or $15 million of taxpayers' money for procuring the necessary pre-construction services for the Bastille High School, my straight dog family. And these were the pre-construction services, which are very clear, as we said: architectural drawings, civil and structural drawings, mechanical and electrical drawings, environmental and social impact study, and the list goes on, my straight dog family. These services were procured, and nothing is free, so they had to be procured at a cost. So will you desist from talking nonsense about 14 million or whatever figure you use on dirt, my straight dog family? But you see, my straight dog family, a caller was right when he spoke to Dr. Drew on a program, and that caller spoke to what he referred to as a shovel-ready project. The caller said this, my straight dog family.
There was a shovel-ready project, which is the Bastille High School. The project had already, the plans had already been drawn. The impact studies had already done. But you choose to shelf it. Today, the ordinary man, construction workers, instead of having the tools rusting, could have been there working. People could have been earning money at the Bastille High School. And why it was shut down? Because of politics. It has nothing to do with water, the water situation. So we got to be careful. It's politics why the country is stagnant. As a matter of fact, since you changed the government, I am involved in construction. I haven't worked for the year. The country is stagnant or actually maybe in reverse. It ain't got nothing to do with the farm administration. It is, I think, it's because of incompetence why we are facing the situation that we are facing.
And my Tree Talk family, the caller is right. And Dr. Drew challenged the caller. But his assessment was absolutely wrong.
The Basti High School wasn't a shovel-ready project. That is not so. $21 million was spent on just project management. $21 million and nothing built. $21 million built, and according to the cost of the whole thing, that is a significant portion of the money and not one block laid. Again, this wasn't any shovel-ready project. That is not so. So I want to just bring the facts. Everybody knows. $21 million spent and not one block laid.
And as I said, his opinions are not facts. Because according to Wikipedia, and in politics, a shovel-ready construction project, usually large-scale infrastructure, is where planning and engineering is advanced enough that with sufficient funding, construction can begin within a very short time. And funding was already allocated to the Ministry of Education for the construction of the Basti High School. So Dr. Drew has thrown millions of dollars. I know it was $15 million. I don't know where he got 21 from. Down the drain. The term shovel-ready was popularized by then U.S. President-elect Obama in 2008. We have read. In terms of spending money, put into a shovel-ready project will have a more immediate impact on the economy than money spent. That's the worker reset that we need. And that is what construction of the Basti High School would have done to the economy, as well as a solar project to construct a 36 megawatt plant, the largest plant in the entire Eastern Caribbean. But it is our politics that we need first and foremost to reset. Yes, we need to reform democracy substantially in order to save it here in St. Kitts and Nevis. If we do not, the system itself is in danger of collapse, and something very sinister may soon take its place. No matter what you tell me, how could we have two parliaments, whatever we call them, a National Assembly here in St. Kitts and a legislature over there in Nevis, and both are without an opposition leader? So who represents the 10,000 electors who voted against the Labour Party in office? It is time to reset the supreme law in the land to facilitate a federation between the island of St. Kitts and the island of Nevis. What are the plans of the government to create a safe, secure, and fair society through the maintenance of the principles of social cohesion and respect for human rights? That is the reset we need. What about our health system in St. Kitts and Nevis? And I forgot to extend condolences to my brother Massive over there in Las Vegas and his mother Pamela Morton up there in St. Peter's, who just recently lost a brother and an uncle, respectively, Adolphus Brandy of Stapleton Village in St. Peter's, who apparently lost his life in Nevis owing to the tardy response from the emergency services. There was a similar occurrence in St. Kitts a few weeks ago, and recall as well that doctor wrote in a Facebook post that patients were dying in droves at the JN France General Hospital. These are the things we need to reset. That is the only way to grow sustainably, develop maturely, and build resiliency. Government policies can have a significant impact on the poor. While some policies aim to help those in need, others can inadvertently create obstacles for those striving to make ends meet. For instance, my straight dog family. Certain policies can drive up consumer prices, such as for food and energy, which disproportionately hurt the poor. Additionally, some policies may create artificial and unnecessary obstacles for the poor when it comes to obtaining jobs that could lift them out of poverty. In closing, my straight dog family, I believe it is time, though, for nothing else but a government reset. If the cascading disappointments of the past year under this Jew Labour administration have done nothing else, they have spurred widespread calls for reform and renewal in about every institution here in St. Kitts, Nevis. After a year like the one we've all just been through under the Jew Labour administration, one conclusion seems obvious. This administration at every level need to get much better at practicing what it preaches. There's an old saying, what gets measured gets managed. It is sometimes expressed as well. We measure what we value, and we value what we measure. But I'm afraid, like this lady, my straight dog family, I do not have much hope in this administration. No hope at all. A straight dog family, I think my straight dog family, I think I've lost that for a moment. My straight dog family. Yes. Let me see, my straight dog family, if I can get that soundbite one more time for you, because I don't think we've heard it. For some reason why, I don't know. Let's see that again, my straight dog family. Okay, we seem to be having some Okay, my straight dog family, we seem to be having some difficulty with that, and I apologize for it. But my straight dog family, that lady, like many of us, have not displayed much hope in this administration. But someone sent me this WhatsApp earlier today, and I pondered. And I said, Dr. Jew is like Stalin. And as I close, I have decided to share this with you, my straight dog family. As I close, I've decided to share this with you. And it's rather interesting. And I'll read it for you, my straight dog family. Very interesting. Stalin once ripped all the feathers off a live chicken as a lesson to his followers. And my good friend SP, thanks for this. He then sent the chicken on the floor a short distance away. The chicken was blooded and suffering immensely. Yet, when Stalin began to toss some bits of wheat towards the chicken, it followed him around. He said to his followers, "This is how easy it is to govern stupid people. They will follow you no matter how much pain you cause them, as long as you throw them a little worthless treat once in a while." A worthless treat, Stalin called it. For me, the independence reset is a worthless treat, an ill-conceived reset announcement. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. But I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and entertain your emails as well. Because my Straight Talk family, you are the ones who make Straight Talk. My Straight Talk family, the numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. I always like to implore you when I open the lines, which I'll do anytime now. I always like to implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, my Straight Talk family, at 9 o'clock, smack to the top of the hour, I say good night to this caller. You're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Patrick, good night.
Wow, you're batting number one tonight. Good night, sir.
How are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Because I have a one. My birthday,
Your birthday was
wonderful.
yesterday. Your birthday was yesterday, right? Happy belated birthday, my brother.
Yeah.
Happy belated
It
birthday.
was wonderful. Mr. Patrick, you remember I just tell you that the word of God said, whatever a man soweth, it's also reap.
True.
But my brother, I received it yesterday when I used to work at Forget Development Corporation. I used to bring home jelly. And I used to give my Christian brother that many years ago, maybe 30-something years ago. And yesterday, he called me in the morning and told me he's going to come by me. And when he come in the afternoon, it be a bottle, a plastic bottle, full of jelly water. And you know what he tell me? That's what you used to bring for me when you used to work at Freeway. And when I look at that, I say, what a man so?
That's Charlie Reed.
I will reap.
True.
Mr. Patrick, the word of God said, if you see your brother in need, and you shut up your bowl of compassion on him, how dwelleth the love of God in you? It is found in John 3 John chapter 3, and you read the whole passage scripture. Mr. Patel, this Bible man here is depending on the Lord and the Lord only. The word of God, man, is a failure. When you put your trust in man, he could cross the road and you're not saved no more. And God is your helper. There is no other help but God. And I'm telling you today, as the word of God said, Adam sinned, and because of Adam's sin, death passed on every jack man on the face of the earth. But thanks be to God, Mr. Patrick, that Jesus Christ went on the cross of Calvary to redeem Adam's fallen race. Mr. Patrick, I am not going no further. I am telling you that the Bible tells me no weapon that forms against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against thee in judgment shall be condemned. This is the heritage of the servant of the Lord, and their righteousness upon me, said the Lord. Good night, Mr. Patrick. Have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well. And dear brother, the Bible man always brings his biblical verses to the program, and be grateful for that. This is so appalling. Read this email. I have never heard so much garbage. The minister repeatedly refers to the actuary as the actuarian, and to the actuarial work as and actuarial studies as actuarial work studies, etc. In his presentation to the National Assembly, he completely misinformed the Assembly and the country by his gross misrepresentation of the information he sought to share. It must also be pointed out that he was in fact relaying unaudited financial information and expressing his ridiculous interpretations of the said information. He needs to be mindful that Parliament is not the place for members of the executive in particular to present flawed information to the country. That is one reason why the law stipulates the protocol and procedures for providing annual accounts and the actuarial review to the minister for laying before the National Assembly. Just imagine the CEO of a company misinforming the shareholders of the company in the way that was done by the minister to the Assembly. The CEO would be fired the next day. By his own unsolicited admission, he confessed to a brazen breach of the governance protocol by indicating that he had received a statement from the director, which he was using to present his tainted interpretation of the financial developments in the Social Security Fund. Reads that email. It's now 7 past the 9 o'clock hour, my Straight Talk family. We are discussing our thesis tonight titled An Ill-Conceived Reset Announcement, my Straight Talk family. And the lines are open. The numbers again are 646 829 6672 or 663 6672, my Straight Talk family. And again, let's take this other email. As a matter of fact, I'll get back to that. This is so Okay, I think I read that before. I'm almost certain. Yes. I think I read that email before. Looks like the same email that's sent again. Good evening, Patches. This $1,000 that Jew announced is one his advisors call him and tell him announce it. No? Because it seems so disorganized and abrupt. So advisors, ambassadors will get their $1,000 plus $1,000, the $10,000, beg your pardon, plus $1,000, while many of us unemployed and non-active workers, according to Jew, will get zero. This is definitely worse. With Labor reads this email. And this other email reads, good evening, Patches. Do you remember how the Labour Party had all kinds of things to say when Social Security under Team Unity paid out $1,000 for 6 months to over 10,000 workers who lost their jobs during the COVID pandemic, totaling over $23 million? Team Unity saved many lives by making these payments back then. Now, the same Labour Party cannot keep out of Social Security, harassing and distracting the employees with all kinds of unnecessary payments. And these payments are not even organized and executed properly like those under Team Unity. Social Security is slowly being put into disrepute with these callous shenanigans that Dr. Jew is bringing to Social Security after such a tremendous job and strong growth under Team Unity, reads this other email. At 9:10, 10 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, my Straight Talk family, if you have just joined me, we are examining the ill-conceived reset announcements, my Straight Talk family. And we are of the view that electricity arrears reset, water services reset. What are we giving the poor man and woman who do not have a job, or the pensioner who just may have a fixed income or may not have, or have lost a steady income? Immediate reconnection, you may say. But that is, as mentioned earlier, is equivalent to giving them a handout instead of a hand-up. And that has to change for people to be set free from this mindset of entitlement and shame to one of dignity, respect, and productivity. My Straight Talk family, what is transformative about the initiatives that Dr. Joe hastily unveiled? What is transformative about them? It baffles me. He gives a handout to the poor, then flies away with half of his cabinet to a foreign land, and they all feel good about what they have done. But think about it. Are they really helping the poor and vulnerable in our country? Because 1 week later, hear my words, mark my words, the perceived good deed that has been done will find the same people in the same situation before that perceived good deed was done. But my Straight Talk family, during the hastily convened sitting of the National Assembly on Monday last, September 18, Dr. Drew announced what he called this Independence 40 reset, which he revealed in the view of many, 6 poorly conceived initiatives which did nothing else but to provoke the thoughts of all and sundry who have already concluded that it was an attempt to change the narrative in the Federation, to create a distraction to everyone who continue to opine and to focus on the incompetence of this Jew administration. No matter what they talk about experts, they lack transparency, they are incompetent, and they lack accountability. And this leader is a perpetual liar. My straight dog family. Today, they've gone to the United Nations. Today at UNGA, the high-level meeting continues under the theme, Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Development Goals towards peace, progress, prosperity, and sustainability for all, my straight dog family, all. But they've all absconded, they've gone away suddenly in order to escape the constant criticism of the poor management of the Federation's economy. They spend more time on the outside than when they're in, my straight dog family. As if they use the opportunity to run away from the problems. But if they run away from the problems, my straight dog family, I can tell them they will never be able to solve them. You run away from a problem, that problem is never solved. My straight dog family. Let's take this email. It is said that Drew chartered a private jet to travel to New York. Is this true, Patches? Well, I cannot confirm that. I cannot confirm that, quite frankly. Let's go to the lines. I'll get back to that, my dear brother. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
您的快件已开送于时，请及时查询。单号查询请按2，员工服务请按3。
Hello? Okay, that's probably a prank call there. It is said that Drew chartered a private plane to travel to New York. Is it true, Patches? And I responded, I am not aware. If it's true, I will tell you, when you were a minister, you boarded a flight from the private terminal from RLB for one of your business trips. And by the next day, the former minister in Douglas' government who resigned as a minister and is now back in the arms of Labour, went on radio and criticized you for boarding at the private terminal. Today he is very quiet on Drew's private jet costing taxpayers so many thousands of dollars. What a hypocrite he is. But my stray dog family, that's that particular email. This other email writes, good night, Mr. Liburd. The reset is only a cover-up. I asked you how much his deputy's wife got to decorate for the Independence 40. Reads this email. That's a question in the form of an email. And my Stray Dog family, many people are talking as well about the performance of Dr. Duke, or the lack thereof, a performance in the parliament. And it was sad to hear Dr. Duke speaking to the disposition of Social Security. And he seemed to like, and he seemed to be very sharp when it comes to his financial assessments, whether it's Development Bank, National Bank, and now Social Security, seem to be his pet institutions. And he said this about the Social Security, which I found rather troubling. I found this rather troubling, my Stray Dog family, when Drew made this comment.
The chair of the board, Mrs. Harris, and her team, I have said to her as the minister that we have to get it right. There will not be any shenanigans or any political interference. She has worked hard with her team. Lots of cleaning up in Social Security. Lots of cleaning up. Lots of things to clear up. And I want to thank her for responding well. And to thank the director, Mr. Lord. He has the relevant studies in terms of actuary and science. He has the resume to prove that. And with all of that, I told him, look, come to Social Security. Help us to make it right. So a lot of things can be said, but facts are facts. The actual fact is Social Security has turned around since last year, July.
He actually went on to say this as well. I mean, everything that Joe seemed to come across, something is wrong. And every time he interprets financial statements in particular, they are always in the red. Have you taken notice of that? He said this.
In 2022 up to July, Social Security was in the red, negative. And I, being from the same party of the first national hero, imbued with the principles on which Social Security was built, I am committed to making sure that Social Security does not only continue to exist, but that Social Security would thrive and respond to present day situations. Especially for the students who are here, I want to say, to date, July 2023, Social Security is now in the green, which means it's positive. Green dollars. All right. The students would know better. So we have turned around significantly. We now have a Social Security that is much stronger. With that turnaround in dollars is up to put us in the black, and this puts us as one of the strongest Social Security scheme in the whole of the Caribbean.
Social Security in the green, in the black, and in the red. Wow. It's really embarrassing when we hear our leader. I can imagine how you feel when I hear our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance assess these statements. I am feeling embarrassed, my people. And he should, not should, he must. It is mandatory that he table these accounts in the Parliament and stop talking his gibberish, as we call it. Imagine the students in the gallery, scoffing and laughing at our Prime Minister, talking about accounts in the green. What a shame, my Stray Dog family. And this does not augur well for the future of our country, my straight dog family. When we have a leader who acts the way he acts, talks the thing he talks, and my straight dog family, it is really sad. And what's even more sad is the deputy to the leader is a slow student, confess slow student, my straight dog family.
I told you how I started off as a slow student. I went to 1A4, 2A4, 3G7, 4G6, 5th form, 5G6. And guess what? I repeated. So I was in school for quite a while. And guess what? Told you how I started off as a slow student. I went to 1A4, 2A4, 3G7, 4G6, 5th form, 5G6. And guess what? I repeated. So I was in school for quite a while.
My straight dog family, yes. So you see the dilemma in which we find ourselves. His deputy is a slow student, so can't help. But his deputy had a miraculous transformation. Miraculous transformation. Because he got 2 masters, 2 bachelors, and a PhD. He has more degrees than a thermometer, even though he left 5G6. But I'm still waiting for him to tell us, my straight dog family, where he got his PhD. Because it obviously seems as though he got his PhD from a university which he never attended. But they are all experts, my straight dog family. And that's troubling. Where will our country go to, my straight dog family? The initiatives to distract our people from continuing to focus on the incompetence, the lack of transparency and accountability, and the perpetual lies, my straight dog family, did not work. What is transformative about these initiatives, we ask ourselves. And these initiatives were hastily unveiled. And what is transformative, I ask the question again, because it baffles me. Dr. Drew gives a handout to the poor, then flies away overseas with half of his cabinet to a foreign land. And they all feel good about what they have done. They all feel good. But think about it, my straight dog family. Are they really helping the poor and vulnerable in our country? I said no. Because 1 week from now, we'll find the same people in the same situation. My straight dog family, how could a one-time payment of EC $1,000 to contributors of the Social Security Fund be considered a workers' reset? How could it? Workers need jobs. Create jobs. And if the circumstances are not right for meaningful and fundamental change in the world of work, how can you reset it? How can there be a workers' reset, my straight dog family? It cannot. And a caller spoke to Drew about this shovel-ready project. He shut it down. All because of politics, my straight dog family. All because of politics, he shut down this project.
There was a shovel-ready project, which is the Barclay High School. The project had already, the plans had already been done. The impact studies had already done. But you choose to shelf it. Today, the ordinary man, construction workers, instead of having the tools rusting, could have been there working. People could have been earning money at the Barclay High School. And why it was shut down? Because of politics. It had nothing to do with the water situation. So we got to be careful. It's politics why the country is stagnant. As a matter of fact, since the change of government, I am involved in construction. I haven't worked for the year. The country is stagnant, actually maybe in reverse. It ain't got nothing to do with the farm administration. It is, I think, it's because of incompetence why we are facing the situation that we are facing.
My straight dog family, this message reads: the ambiguous statement made by the Prime Minister in the House of Assembly on September 18 can be surmised as a pitch to encourage workers to register with the Social Security Board and make regular contributions. Why does he want to give the profits from the CBI funds to a select group of workers and bona fide pensioners, excluding those who are not residents? There are many bona fide pensioners who are living abroad because of their medical condition. Also, what happens in a situation where a student is attending a college or university overseas and has been a prior contributor to the fund? Will they be precluded because they have not made the 26 contributions since 2019? It would have made more sense if he had given the money to everyone who was born in the Federation on a pro rata basis, based on the age of the citizen, who is at the age of consent, can decline to offer. It is a cumbersome method, but it's an equitable way to give the citizens their fair share. It is an expensive proposition, but we are getting the impression that the country is no longer in the red. I say that because of the frequent number of trips abroad, sometimes with large groups of people. Also, they have become jet setters. In summary, what does making payments to Social Security has to do with who gets and who does not get a share of the profits from the CBI? I'm totally confused. Reads this message. Let's go to the lines. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Liburd, man. How are you doing tonight?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. I would encourage the callers to call in, before the show gets down to the last minutes. I know these lines are kind of slow tonight. But anyway, I want to Do you have any knowledge that there was a boat with some Haitians that ran aground on the St. Kitts last night?
Could you repeat that? I didn't get you.
Do you have any knowledge that there was a boat, another boat that ran ashore in St. Kitts last night with some Haitians again? Did you have any knowledge of that at all?
No, that's news to me. I don't know how I missed that. Have you heard?
Yeah, so there was some speculations that was on another program this morning. So I wanted to get, to see if you can research that for us.
Okay.
Also, yeah, I'm going to try to move on really quickly because I got a couple of things, right? But don't forget about that incident, if you can check into that.
Yes,
also, is there any way you can bring forth the, we've been hearing about the debt on the Nevis side, the NIA debt, right? Has swollen up to like $544.7 million.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can get the federal debt on the St. for us? We want to get an understanding picture where the Federation stands with the debt at this point, because it seems like these guys are starting to spend up a lot of unnecessary money. Can you get that information for us as well, man?
Yes, I will try and research it. Although this government is lacking so much transparency. I mean, when for example, you had a COVID and we had this stimulus package, we heard, well, $120 million was spent, this is the third time now this CBI dividend is spent, and we don't know what amount is being spent, until we get those actual figures and from the estimates. But then, the estimates for next year, the actuals for that will find estimates for next year will be for 2020, 2022, instead of being 2024.
That's what I'm kind of driving at, man.
Yes,
we need some transparency. They're talking about only select transparency, but what I'm starting to drive at is that CBI program, because the initiatives that they just released for this reset, right? Mm-hmm. The terminology gift, right? I mean, I know some persons who's very analytical, they would already ask some of these questions already. Mm-hmm. This money is coming from the CBI program, right?
Yes.
And the CBI program is, a national resource. You know what I'm saying? They're selling the national passport. And, that's like, to me, that's the people's money. How can you take the people's money and say that you're going to give them a gift? How can you take a man's money and give him back his money as a gift? Hmm. You know what I mean? And one of the emails came in, and one of the emails was targeting the $1,000 that they say that they're going to distribute, right? I know me and one of my other friends, we mentioned the hangers-on. Mm-hmm. The hangers-on. Those number of persons that you put out, the list that had a number of advisors and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. One of the points that we was trying to drive at when we mentioned this was, you see how they released this initiative with this $1,000, right? They're persons that's hangers-on. They already put their time in, and they're getting a pension, right? They're getting Social Security. So remember now, the parliamentarians, the relationship I want to ask, maybe get you to shine a little bit of light or help me out with this or whatever, is that they try to give themselves an 85% increase, right? The people somewhat maybe get them to, simmer down with that for now. But to me, the least little chance they get, they're going to approve that shit in Parliament. Things happen in Jamaica. It's gonna happen in St. Kitts as soon as they bring that back again. They're gonna go through it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, they're dragging their feet with giving the people a minimum wage increase. A commission was put in place, and it's been 6 months now. Recommendations were made already, but yet still can be passed in Parliament. All right, the CBI money, right? I mean, the hangers-on that we mentioned before, right? If you realize, right, those persons who are retirees and getting a pension ready, they're blocking up a spot from somebody else. Somebody else, doesn't matter if they're young or old, once they qualify, because when we brought that point to you and we say we want young people in there, you try to find out from us who is a young person and what is his performance thus far. So we revised that, and we want to mention to you qualified persons. There are persons in the Federation that went away and got all these degrees, bro. There's so much people that's qualified to do some of these positions and to be advisors and ambassadors, but they have persons who have already been in the public sphere for 20 years, and they still come back and take up these positions that other people can have. And therefore, such thing as this initiative, this $1,000, they're going to pay out to the retirees first. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So those hangers-on going to get that $1,000 hit their bank account before the average man in the Federation. You know what I mean? And it's a good initiative, yeah, but people are just seeing it for what it is. This is just a temporary fix, bro. This money, in my opinion, should be invested into the country. You know, healthcare, infrastructure, education, and such things. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the guys who's pushing for reparations. When reparations come, how are they going to distribute it? They're going to distribute that in cash to people, or they're going to reinvest that money in the countries and bring some of these countries up to par. You know, digitalize. You know, get caught up with the technology. You know, these are the type of things that I'm focusing on. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a lot to be said, man. There's a lot to be said. But this $1,000, they call it a gift, but that's money is coming from the CBI program, which is our money, man. Mm. You know, this is like playing politics. You know, this is playing politics. It is. You know what I mean? That $1,000 is short lived. It's going to get spent up right away. And for those persons who think that they're gone clear, when they give them some relief on their water bill and their electric bill, trust me, nothing is really free. You might enjoy this for like 1 month, but 30 days out from now to 6 months out from now, if the person's getting this $1,000, if they don't act responsible, it's going to come back to bite them, because, you know, that $1,000 could be blown, man. One shopping cart in Rams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can go down to the bar and treat your friends, and boom, a couple of cases of beer, and that $1,000 is gone. You know, if they don't act responsible, then later on, it's going to come back to bite them. You know what I mean? You know, but as far as I can see, that's like when they run around for campaigning time, mm-hmm. and they throw $500 out to people. Yo, man, I give $500 to come vote for me. Okay. But that stuff, I don't believe in like buying vote stuff, man. We got to get back to the to the fundamentals. You know what I mean? Yep. A man don't have to vote for me. I don't have to buy a man's vote. A man gonna vote for me if my issues I'm coming with is hitting home. You know what I mean? And we need some dignity back in the place, man. True. Dignity for the people. That's what we need. But that's my contribution tonight, man. And I hope people can, you know, sift through the stuff and figure it out. And one last thing before I go is I'm going to come back to the evidence that G said he has. If a man commits a crime, you need to charge him. If you have all these forensic financial evidence of such things that the former administration did, you know, you need to charge somebody, persons. Instead of talking so much, if they care about stamping out corruption, you need to charge somebody. And as far as I can see, you know, we under AG sometime. And really and truly, man, if the AG sees these documents and he knows crimes was committed and he don't charge somebody, they need to retire and get out the way, man. Mm-hmm. Okay. They need to charge somebody or they need to retire. Okay. That's the way how I see it, man. That's my take for the night. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for your forthright position. As per usual, my dear brother, I want to thank this caller for holding caller your life.
Thank you. Matthias, I don't want the caller just a while ago. I think he would have said it all. But there's certain things that, you know, certain explanation we want to give. The last thing that Mr. said was the Social Security the funds were in a mess. It was worrisome. The bank, it's in a mess. The country was in the red. And for me, it was this one. What have we done economically to get such a boost so that the Prime Minister can go out and give out $1,000. I don't have a problem. I don't like handouts in the first place. I think there are policies that they can go to Parliament and they can make, where the minimum wage is an issue. A one-time $1,000 is not happening. They're only forgiving they're not getting rid of the bills the customers have, because they're raising in, you have to pay them up. You have to go down and you have to have a discussion and you have to come up with a payment plan. The people who they would have cut off, they were in excess of $1,000. So $1,000 having to pay on the electricity bill is still not doing anything. The whole world is basically looking at recession. We're having issues, and it's a fact. The government has to be truthful, recognizing that it's not everything. There's not much they can do to alleviate the hardship that we have here. But you have to be economical in what you're doing. You have to understand it's not about giving out and handouts. The question I ask, the debt that Christoph Haber was owing the National Bank, whether or not that debt was pardoned or the interest was pardoned from that debt, that is how government makes money. We're seeing that the taxes, you still have the reduction for unincorporated taxes, you still have that reduction there. Where is the money coming from for the government to be giving out gifts of $1,000? It really doesn't make any sense to me. I appreciate the fact that they would have looked and given the ultra poor, we have a new set of people who think it's the ultra poor, that gift voucher. That made a lot of sense. You alleviate some of the hardships for parents who have children in school and having to buy school books. It's really, really tough. So something like that was really, for me, was a very, very good venture. What the government needs to do, instead of putting it off any longer, is increase the minimum wage. All of this money that you're going to give out, and then you're going to still have to increase the minimum wage. Who is going to pay for this? The CBI program, we know, it's not a slush of fun as it was before, because, Europe was posing some issues in order for you to go there. The Caribbean islands, those who participated in CBI was going to face some serious problems. So sooner or later, you'd have had to get a visa if you're going into Europe. And just make some changes. I agree. The prices for the CBI program has gone up. The reason why there was a reduction is because the program was slow. So now that you've gone back up on the prices, what is going to happen? What is the source of income? We have we don't have any exports. The only thing we depend on right now is tourism and the CBI program. Our taxes are minimal. Social security was a big issue. But yet still we're taking money. I don't know where the money came from. Again, you said all citizens would have contributed to Social Security. Why are you paying some and not paying the others? All of us would have contributed to Social Security.
Sure.
Some people, for whatever reason, they might have started their own business, but they would have put some contributions into Social Security. So why are some getting and others are not getting? These are the questions that you're asking. We have to be serious about what we're doing here. We have to be very serious because we've come a long way. We don't owe the IMF. We were going on we were in a good path to making sure our economy was first, number one in the Caribbean and Latin America. And now we are going back down a slippery, slidey slope. It's not about pleasing people, Dr. Joe. It's not that. It's about making sure that you maintain what you were given. And the way we're going, we see provisions have been made. The same thing you accuse the former administration for. It's basically the same thing happening. The same thing is happening. And we all know that is a fact. But we have to be very careful as people, as citizens of thinkers and leaders. We have to stop being happy about handouts. We have to stop rejoicing over getting handouts. The land situation, there are people who would have had their land surveyed. We as citizens of thinkers and Nevis. Development has to come better than this. There are people who would have paid for their land, having to pay. Whether or not we got it under the unity administration, we are citizens of this whole land, and we are supposed to be getting. We are making provisions for people who are here and not born here but have dual citizenship. It's not right. That is, and we have to start. We have to start standing up for what we believe in.
Sure.
These handouts, I see people are so happy. What is $1,000 in this time? There's a most of $1,000 is just a drop in the bucket. We need things that we need. Government has to take approaches that are sustainable and beneficial that will actually help in growing the economy. Not these handouts, they're not working. Thank you, and Patrick. Really appreciate your show.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution as well. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello,
Good
caller.
evening, Mr. Liburd. How are you?
I am peaceful, sir. Yourself?
Mr. Liburd, it was nice seeing you the other day. Hello, Mr. Liburd.
Yes, you saw me?
Yes, sir. It was nice talking with you, but it
You
come
have
back to haunt you.
you have your equipment on? I can hear
No,
feedback.
sir.
Yes,
No, sir.
okay.
I told you when we spoke last time, when those Haitians come into our territorial waters, they must be dealt sharp blows and they'll run. Now, 10 people have been found in the Connery area. No one has told us where they came from, but a distress signal was picked up in St. Bart's and transported to St. Kitts. They were dropped off. They said, come, St. Kitts. We got a communist leader, an ex-Rasta, and he can let you all come and stay in St. Kitts. They're coming in droves, Mr. Liburd. We had controlled the Chinese, we controlled the Indians, now we're having the Haitians. They're brothers and sisters, but we have bigger problems here than they're having there. Are you telling me that's your way now? You're smiling. Do you agree with them coming to our country, Mr. Liburd?
I interpret that as a rhetorical question.
No, it's a straightforward yes or no.
Well, you know, I saw someone sent me a clipping from a report about the Haitians landing in St. Kitts. I've taken a position not to really use information from that reporter because I remember using a soundbite from that reporter, and it was totally inaccurate. So until I can verify, because I remember this reporter had when they had the robberies at Ram supermarket. This reporter had a very sensational story with lots of money being retrieved and so on, and only to find out it was not factual. So
that was the communist government that you have in to make them look good.
Okay.
It didn't happen, but this is, you could take that into the bank. What?
Well, I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting it, but I said someone referred me to report by that particular reporter, and I promised not to use them on that.
Well,
information.
I am telling you.
Yeah.
I am telling you, Mr. I, but this is real.
Okay.
It was on ZIZ
and
everything.
Okay. It was.
Yes, it was on ZIZ.
Okay, I missed that. Yeah.
The St. Bart's picked up the distress signal, and that rowboat, they were dropped off by a big boat and said, come to the land of the free. They're waiting for you with open arms. Anyway, your show is doing good.
Thank you.
And you're still looking as fit as I saw you last time, so that's a good thing, Mr. Liburd.
Okay.
You keep fighting because it's coming to an end. They're giving away money. Elections is coming. Back in the old days, once they filled in potholes, it was coming. Now it's money. Watch it.
You said we met. You said we met. Is this the soldier? You said
good night.
You said you met me someplace. I'm just trying to start. I haven't caught the voice, but is this the soldier?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So.
Okay, my brother.
All right, my friend. Right. You hang tight.
Nice,
all right, good respect.
Nice to hear you, my brother.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like I said, I'm getting information that some 10 Haitians were picked up over at Connery, and a child 2 years of age, or 2 years old, was among that 10. I got the information before, and then I was happy for the information that was forwarded to me. My good friend AF sent the information, but as I said, I was very wary, very, very cautious to use it at first, because as I said, I used some information before from that particular reporter, and only to find that the information was inaccurate. But it seemed to be confirmed that these Haitians were picked up again in St. Kitts. St. Kitts becoming a rather attractive destination, and for obvious reasons. But my Straight Talk family, it's now 6 before the 10 o'clock hour, and we're winding down tonight's programming. And the caller before the last one made some very important points about handouts, and I asked a question about the initiatives unveiled by Dr. Jew, and I asked the question in terms of its transformation, or what transformativity, if that's the word. What is transformative about the initiatives, to be more accurate, that Jew hastily unveiled, and then he absconded. He gave his handout to the poor, then flies away with half of his cabinet to a foreign land. Understand, right now he is at UNGA, at the United Nations, where he will make a presentation on Saturday. And the United Nations General Assembly meets every year in this high-level meeting. All the heads of government, presidents, and make presentations at the UN for that debate. But he gave this handout and then flew away to a foreign land. I refer to that. And of course, many people will feel good about, or they themselves rather would feel good about what they have done. But just like that lady made the point, as we wind down, think about it yourselves. Do these initiatives, or this quote-unquote transformative initiative, or initiatives, are they really helping the poor and vulnerable? Because 1 week later, from now, after this perceived good deed has been done, unfortunately, we'll find these same people in the same situation. And that's the unfortunate thing about these handouts. Good night, Patches. Reads this email. The PM used all the colors in the flag to describe the financial state of the Social Security, except white. What does white represent? Just asking, reads this email. But my Straight Talk family, this other emails reads as well. It is interesting that you referred to Stalin, the Russian communist dictator. I have for many years compared the Labour Party to the Communist Party. If you're a card-carrying comrade, you get a job. housing, scholarships, and other benefits not based on merit, but membership of the Labour Party. Anyone who opposes them will be fired and denied the means of earning a living. That's why as soon as they got into office, they victimized thousands of petitions and divisions. Read this email. This other email reads, illusion of explanatory depth. This email is captioned. The good doctor obviously believes he is talking to his patients who have no knowledge of medicine and blindly depend on him for relief or healing. So he speaks in tongues and vagaries, believing he won't be questioned. So please let us not think for 1 minute that he does not know what he's doing. He's playing on the emotions and the strong passion of the Labour supporters to help him in his futile attempt to erase the progress made on the previous administration. However, a miscalculation to his detriment, a terrible first impression and leadership that can be described as, at best, as short-sighted, haphazard, and clueless. Reads that email. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hey, Patches, man, I really have to come back in and just say thank you to that lady for helping me articulating, these points.
Okay.
She made a great presentation there. And additionally, to support her a little bit more, what I'm saying is that they're not percolating the economy in the right way. You know what I'm saying? The economy is not really at the point where we need it to be. And so then, therefore, I don't see them creating no new jobs. So when she asks the question, where is this money coming from? You know what I'm saying? What have they really done to really distribute this money? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, they're working off of what they met and possibly the passport that Jew has signed off on thus far. And he's not bringing that transparency at all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We don't know how much, passport the certificates he has signed off on so far. And that CBI man is a cash cow. He said that it's generating more money than the tourism industry. And imagine that, man. Some investigations was done on the figures from last year, which is still estimated that $588 million came into Bastille last year. When the economy went down. The CBI program has been running for 40 years already. $588 million coming into Bastille last year. I mean, just do this for me, man. Take off that 88 million and we're down to 500 million. And you take 500 million and multiply it by 40 years. And you will find out how much money that came in the Federation to that CBI program over that 40 years. Where is all that money going, bro? You know what I mean? Projects is faltering in Nevis, and possibly some is faltering in St. Kitts as well. You know what I mean? Let's compare to Manhattan, bro. St. Kitts and Nevis could have been up to top shape already. Mm-hmm. They're abusing that money, man. And these guys now who's in, they're starting to just spend. When somebody see money, they're going to just spend. They need to be cautious with the spending because St. Kitts and Nevis is going to end up back at the IMF. Believe it or not, we're going to end up back at the IMF. And when Dr. G goes around saying he has created jobs, when he reopened up the tourist industry specifically, man, that's not creating no new jobs. You opening back up the airports and stuff like that, and the tourist industry is reopened. There is no new jobs being created to me. As far as I can tell, you're going back to the pre-pandemic figures and levels that the previous administration had the place at. You know what I mean? Yeah. People got to sift through this stuff, man. This stuff is, if you don't get analytical, bro, you'll get lost in the rubble with this political stuff that's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. But for me, ain't nobody can fool me with this political stuff, bro. I grew up in this stuff in Cotton Ground. I'm a product of my environment. I sucked that up when the former NRP was coming around when I was a little boy. Nobody would be able to fool me about this stuff, bro. But thanks to that lady that called in, and you guys have a good night, man.
Have a good night, and thanks to you as well for your interventions. As we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, we asked a question about our electricity and our water reset. And they're pertinent questions, my Straight Talk family. Electricity arrears reset. Water services reset. What have we given to the poor man and woman who do not have a job? Immediate reconnection, you may say, but that is equivalent to giving them a handout instead of a hand up. And that's not change for people to be set free from a mindset of entitlement and shame to one of dignity, respect, and productivity. Water disconnection? How could I approve the disconnection of someone's or anyone's water? How could I when I know that water is life? How could a one-time payment of EC $1,000 to contributors to the Social Security Fund be considered a workers' reset? A workers' reset? How could it be if the circumstances are not right for meaningful and fundamental change in the world of work? My Straight Dog family, it is our politics that we need first and foremost to reset. Yes, we need to reform democracy substantially in order to save it. If we do not, the system itself is in danger of collapse, and something very sinister would take place in this federation of ours. I must repeat that no matter what you tell me, how could we have two parliaments, whatever we call them, a National Assembly and a legislature in Nevis, and both of them are without an opposition leader? What does that say about our democracy, my Straight Talk family? It is therefore time to reset the supreme law in the land, which is our Constitution, so that we can facilitate a federation between the island of St. Kitts and the island of Nevis. That's not what we have. What are the plans of the government to create a safe, secure, and fair society through the maintenance of the principles of social cohesion and respect for human rights? That is the reset we need. What about our health system in St. Kitts and Nevis? That too needs a reset, my Straight Dog family. These are the things we need to reset. And that is the only way to grow sustainably, develop maturely, and build resiliency. Government policies can have a significant impact on the poor. And while some policies aim to help those in need, others can inadvertently create obstacles for those striving to make ends meet, my Straight Dog family. In closing though, I believe it is time for nothing else but a government reset. Because when we examine the cascading disappointments of the past year, nothing else, my Straight Talk family, have spurred widespread recall. The past year have done nothing else, I should say rather, but to spur widespread recalls for reform and renewal in just about every institution in St. Kitts and Nevis. After a year like the one we've all just been through under the Jew Labour administration, one conclusion seems obvious. This administration at every level needs to get much, much better. Or need to start, I should say, to practice what it preaches. I made mention of the old adage, what gets measured gets managed, my Street Talk family. But I'm afraid many do not have much hope in this Jew administration. And I'm going to leave you with something that a friend of mine sent me today. And he did not say that, but my interpretation was that he was saying that Jew is like Stalin. And I want to share it one more time as I leave you. We know Stalin, I'm sure, Joseph Stalin, who led the Soviet Union from 1924 until his death in 1953. He held power as General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union from 1922 to 1952 and chairman of the Council of Ministers of the Soviet Union from 1941 to 1953. Initially governing the country as part of the collective leadership, he consolidated power to become a dictator by the 1930s. And he was born to a poor family in Gori in the Russian Empire, now known as Georgia. My Street Dog family, Joseph Stalin became that dictator. And under Stalin, socialism in the country became a central tenet of the party's ideology. As a result of his 5-year plans, the country underwent agricultural collectivization and rapid industrialization, creating a centralized command economy. My Street Dog family, Stalin instituted the Great Purge, in which over 1 million people were imprisoned. And by 1937, he had absolute control over the party and government. Beware of this leader, my Straight Dog family. He may be like Stalin, who once ripped all the feathers off a live chicken as a lesson to his followers. He then sent the chicken on the floor a short distance away. The chicken was blooded and suffering immensely. Yet, when Stalin began to toss some bits of wheat toward the chicken, it followed him around. He said to his followers, "This is how easy it is to govern stupid people. They will follow you no matter how much pain you cause them, as long as you throw them a little worthless treat once in a while." A worthless treat, Stalin called it. What do you call this Independence 40 reset? I call it an ill-conceived reset announcement. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family. I'm not going to change it. But I'm going to thank you, or rather, first of all, thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank you, the many listeners, to my social media pages on YouTube and Facebook. Those who sent emails, and those of you who called. Those of you who listened. I want to assure you that you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep, and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. My way, with strength and courage from above, no man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow.